Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's video. So day 10 will take us to the 20th of November, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, and maybe run around a couple of weeks. Going to have a look at the CFSV2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that gets us into December. So I shall get on that for you in a moment. Just say that first video release today was our 7 AM upload. We've also released, of course, the USA forecast also on Wednesday, the look at what's going on in America. And we've got our third update for Christmas coming up for you at 7 PM. So the Christmas countdown continues. And we're up to update number 3 out of 25 for Christmas. So check out the third Christmas update. If you'd like to do that, please like, share, subscribe on all other videos. Thank you so much for doing that. We've only got to put on around 3 subscribers now to get to 12.5k. So hopefully we'll be able to get to 12,500 subscribers today. And then we'll be able to push on to 12.6k. The ultimate target is 13,000 subscribers, when if we do that before Christmas, we're going to give away an Amazon voucher for Christmas. So that'll be, that'll be quite nice if you want to do a bit of Christmas shopping at Amazon. But we've got to get to 13k before we can do it. Right, okay, so please give us a sub if you'd like to do that. Thank you so much. Right, okay, let's crack on the video then. So we're going to start off CT. Central temperature continues to lift up. It's now standing at 8.5, which is only half a degree above average. I thought it'd probably be a bit warmer than that, given how mild it was yesterday, but it didn't lift up all that much, to be honest. But there we go, 8.5, that's provisional to the 9th. The first 10 days, that's going to carry on lifting up over the next day or so. The first 10 days of November will be milder than average, but not excessively so. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. So we're at Hastings today. Now, somebody asked if I could have a look at Rye in East Sussex. And I tried to do that, but that's one of the places that is not listed within, within West Central's locations. So we can go to town and city level, but, small towns, villages, we can't always get down to that level. So that person that asked if I can have a look at Rye, I'm very sorry. I've picked out Hastings, which is like 12 miles away from Rye, and I hope that's okay. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Hastings. And we're starting off mild average at the moment, and it looks like I'm going to say pretty mild really for the south over the next week. Now, there was the idea that as we go into the weekend next week, we might get a bit of a drop in the temperature. It looks like we're going to struggle to get those colder temperatures down onto the south coast, though. It's actually staying relatively mild for southern areas over the next week. And even into the extended range now, we've lost those cold outliers, or those colder members that we had yesterday. Remember yesterday, and probably the day before, we were sort of thinking that the third week of November might see a drop in the temperature with an Arctic incursion. The GFS is backed way back. The GFS ensembles were never overly sort of keen on that anyway, to be honest, but the operationals were flirting with it a little bit. But anyway, that idea has been more or less discarded, except for 1 or 2 cold outliers that are still trying to do it. But they really are outliers now. It looks like the general trend over the next couple of weeks is pretty mild, to be honest. Certainly for Hastings down on the south coast. Above average, more or less, from beginning to end. Precipitation-wise, a lot of dry weather over the next week. Not continuously dry, not completely dry. There will be some showery bursts here and there, but a lot of dry weather to come over next week. Maybe more unsettled after that, as we move into the extended range. But again, that's unreliable with the GFS and its ensembles. It just looks like we have a continuation of what we've had, really, certainly over the next week to 10 days, which is pretty mild and relatively dry. Temperature anomalies should attempt to the 18th of November are milder than average. The warm autumn of 2021 goes on. It's the case of rinse repeat with these anomaly charts. I've been saying this pretty much continuously, with the odd exception here and there, since like end of August, early September. We've had no real deviation from that sort of pattern that we set up at the end of August, beginning of September. We've had no real consistent deviation from that as we move into the middle of November. It has been an incredibly long-lasting and persistent pattern, a real slog this autumn, I have to say. Let's hope we're rewarded by something a bit more interesting for the winter. Precipitation anomalies, again, case of rinse repeat. Temp to the 18th of November, drier than average. So on and on it goes, warmer than average, drier than average. Right, let's have a look at the latest wind flow map from urbanoldschool.net then. So we're drawing in, we're under sort of a ridge, particularly across more southern areas today, but we're drawing in this very mild air from the southwest into that ridge. There is a deep area of low pressure just there, but I don't think that's going to shake things up all that much. Although there will be a low that comes in on Friday into Saturday that will bring some showery bursts. So this time the UK Met is looking for midnight on Saturday. Low pressure is beginning to push through the country. Friday to Saturday will bring some rain, ridge building behind it, and so as we go into Sunday and Monday, high pressure takes over again, this time centred towards Scandinavia, bringing in an easy wind, but it won't be a particularly cold easy wind, but we'll probably lower the temperature by a few degrees, but it's not like a cold easy, it's not going to bring snow or anything like that. And then the ridge begins to decline as we move into the middle of next week, just beginning perhaps to turn a bit wet and windy into the northwest by this time next week, which is midnight on Wednesday, but still mild, still bring wind in from a west or southwesterly direction. That's as far as we go with the UK Met. Mrs. Halbert GFS midnight run is looking again low pressure clearing away on Saturday, and then we build up this ridge of high pressure that will pull wind into the east into the open next week, but it's not a cold easterly. Middle of next week, the high pressure is declining, lower pressure beginning to come in off the Atlantic, although still with this ridge ongoing to the south and to the east, we just can't shake it off. Lower pressure out to the northwest will bring some wind and rain up there, up towards day 10 and beyond it. The pattern is maintained really, with again these southwesterly winds bring further rain into northwest, high pressure ridging into south, reasonably dry, quite mild then. Later on, there is a change to something rather more unsettled as this low comes in. That's breaking down the ridge properly and bringing outbreaks of rain. And then beyond that, just start to get a little bit colder as that trough pushes through. By the end of the GFS run, we're starting to bring down a colder northerly wind. But that's not till the 26th of November. Really long way out, and it is nothing like the sort of blocking and Greenland block and big Arctic blasts that the GFS midnight and operation runs were showing yesterday. Right, that's that one done, but probably more sensible actually. It's quite unusual to get a proper Greenland blocking feature, especially without like a major stratospheric warming. So that scenario, if it does get cold, that's probably how it will happen, through like a ridge, a mid-Atlantic ridge, and a little bit of a colder snap. Right, this is how 6Z is looking. So, again, that low pressure clears away to the east on Saturday. Heights rising behind it, so we go into high pressure again over the latter part of the weekend into next week. Those of dry weather and that high pressure, and the high pressure gradually declines through to mid next week as lower pressure starts coming off the Atlantic, although for the south and east still keeping an influence from the ridge out to the north and west. There will be some wind and rain at times. That's so look as we get towards day 10 with 6Z, so once again reasonably dry, quite mild in the south, a little bit more unsettled up in the north. This could be a notably dry November actually for southern areas. And then in more extended range, again, just keep this ridge building in from the Azores into the southwest. That's where it's been since the end of August, and still there as we're coming towards the end of November. Lower pressure up towards Greenland and Iceland. And then in the more extended range, or right at the very end of the GFS run, which gets us to the 26th of November. Look at that, no deviation. The high pressure still goes on. More southern areas, it's still a very mild pattern, pulling in the winds from the southwest. And there's not much more you can say about that, really. It's like what we've been experiencing since the end of August. We're at the end of November, 3 months on. You would expect would have had a pattern change by then, but no, actually the pattern that we had at the end of August is still more or less in business at the end of November. At some point there will be a pattern change, of course. We will get a fundamental shift in the pattern, and it will remain to be seen what that shift is as we go into the winter. This is how the GEM is looking. So again, if you enjoyed the video, then please smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think. So GEM again shows that low pressure clearing away into the North Sea with high pressure building behind it. So a lot of dry weather into the early part of next week. Winds in from the east, not a cold east sea, but will be probably a little bit cooler. Middle of next week, high pressure breaks down as lower pressure comes in off the Atlantic. And the GEM, as it often is more unsettled with quite deep low pressure coming in at the end of next week and into the weekend of the 20th, 21st of November. That brings wet and windy weather and something colder from the northwest as well. But bear in mind the GFS output is nowhere near as unsettled as that for southern and eastern areas around days 8, 9 and 10. And the GM is often a little bit more unsettled in that time frame. ECMWF shows that the low pressure clears away on Saturday into the North Sea, then high pressure builds in behind it, lots of dry weather into the early part of next week. Gradually the high pressure breaks down through the middle of next week, and then into day 10 we look like that. So for southern areas, you've got the 1020 millibar isobar there in the south, so reasonably dry for southern, southeast areas, more unsettled in the north and west, and there will be some rain at times, particularly so for more northern and western areas, and still mild with winds in from the west and from the southwest. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from twentieth.com. A lot of dry over the next few days. Over Friday into Saturday, there will be some rain, particularly so for more northern areas, a little bit down in the south, and the high pressure returns later in the weekend into the early part of next week. Plenty of dry weather then. Later on next week, it turns more unsettled with this cold front pushing across the country and introduces something a little bit colder from Greenland and showers that's turning wintry through western Scotland and Northern Ireland. But not for long. We're back towards rain by day 10, and again particularly so in the north and west, very little getting through the Midlands into southern and eastern areas. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 20th of November. 30 members of the ECM ensembles have low pressure out to our west and northwest, high pressure to our east and southeast. And winds are being drawn in from a southwesterly direction, so that's quite unsettled, but at least it will be mild. 21 have low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, and winds in from the west. That's going to be driest in the south, wettest in the north. That's a mild scenario 2. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This will get us to the 25th of November. Moving into the last week of the month, we have 14 members of the ECM ensembles there with high pressure out to our west. Still quite a bit of dry weather, but a bit cooler. We'll be bringing the wind from the northwest with that one. 11 have a big change as high pressure builds over Scandinavia and low pressure drops south. So that would turn the wind into the east, actually. We have 10 with high pressure just to our west, low pressure to our southeast. Winds probably coming in from more of a northeasterly direction with that. 9 with a mid-Atlantic ridge going towards Greenland. That's the kind of thing that the GFS operations were showing yesterday. Trough of low pressure to our east, which pulls in potentially a cold northerly wind. And then 7 with high pressure over the country, low pressure to the north. That's a dry, mild scenario. So there are a few options that are on the table there by the final week of the month. We might get something a little bit colder going by then, but certainly nothing definitive. CMSV2, and then we're done with this video. So 500 millibar heights breaking down to week pairs. The first week pair takes from the 10th to the 16th of November. The coming week is anticyclonic. High pressure is in control. Low pressure is out to the northwest. Jet streams push northwards, so dry and mild in the week ahead. Week 2 will be the 17th to the 23rd of November. High pressure just to our west, southwest there, mainly dry and still pretty mild. The air coming around that high pressure is from like a southwesterly direction and source. Week 3 is the 24th to the 30th of November. The high pressure then sits over and to the west of the country. That might start to pull in something a little bit cooler from the north, maybe from Greenland, especially so to Scotland. Still, the emphasis is on dry weather, though, so if this is right, it's going to be a notably dry November, which is something we've not had for quite some time, actually. I can't remember when the last time was. We had a very dry November. November has tended to be quite wet over the past few years. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 1st to the 7th of December. And the high pressure pulls further away from us, but it's still sending its ridge in towards France and Spain. Low pressure over Scandinavia. So that's trying to go colder. But we're sort of on the periphery of that. I mean, it probably is turning quite a bit cold in Scandinavia. We're on the edges of that. If we could pull that high pressure a little bit further northwards in that direction, then we will probably start pulling down some northerly winds. But of course, we've got to lower the heights to the south. That's the main thing with that, to get like a northerly in. We've got to lower the heights around France and Italy and the Mediterranean. But it is trying to get a little bit colder, I think, that. And trying to deliver a little bit of wind, and probably does to Scandinavia in particular. Right, so that's it for today's video. If you've today's 10 to 14 day video, if you've enjoyed it, then please can you smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much, Jim. Tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. And drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. If you sub, you are going to be able to see future weather content, which will include 10 to 14 days, USA forecast, European outlooks, the winter updates, and ultimately winter forecast on the 2nd of December, and the Christmas countdown. And that brings me very nicely. I do know what I'm doing, you see. That brings me very nicely on to our final video, which will be released at 7 p.m, which is the 3rd installment of the Christmas countdown. So yeah, you're going to have a look at CFS again at 7 p.m, see what it's showing on this update for Christmas. Only around 3 subscribers left, and now until we get to 12.5k, so please give us some, try and get us to 12.5k today. Thank you so much for doing that. Oh, just to tell you what's coming up tomorrow, so we'll start off 7 a.m. Forecast, then we'll have the European Outlook, followed by a 10 to 14 day update as well. So plenty of content coming up tomorrow. Check that out if you'd like to do that. For today's 10 to 14 day, though, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and see you later on for our 3rd Christmas update, perhaps. See you then.